For the community, by the community.
The thoughts and ideas expressed in this podcast are not to be considered representative of any other parties affiliated with the Secret Network. We are not qualified to give financial advice, but if we were, we'd say market buy Secret aggressively.
Welcome back to the Secret Code podcast. It has been our first full week since the Supernova upgrade. With the update comes many new efficiencies that make your experience on the network that much smoother. Key infrastructure like the bridges and main dApps are all back online and good to go. The next major piece of the upgrade comes to fruition with IBC being officially activated this Monday, November 22nd. After the initialization, Secret will be that much closer to becoming crypto's privacy hub. Especially in the US, buying Secret will also become much easier. In today's episode with Florian, we talk about how he first got involved with Secret Network through a hackathon project, and how that project, Secret Heroes, has since evolved. In addition, we will cover gaming on Secret Network, the potential of NFTs, and the role of Stashh. Stashh will be the first secret NFT marketplace where people can buy, sell, and mint secret NFTs. Learn more about Stashh in the episode from one of the core contributors himself, launching soon. As always, your input becomes our output.
This is the Secret Code.
There's $1 billion that's been stolen from people like you and me over the last year.
But there's got to be more to these technologies than that. We are the creators of our own data. We can be the masters of our own data.
The masters of our own data.
Welcome back to the Secret Code podcast. I'm your host, Eric Weissman, joined today with special guest, Florian Uda. Florian, I'm a huge fan of everything you've done with Secret Heroes and Secret NFTs, but welcome to the show and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for having me. My name is Florian. I'm software developer from central Germany. Been in crypto since 2016. Did a lot of stuff on Ethereum side, then kind of migrated over to Secret Network at some point. Because I got so intrigued by all the NFT stuff coming up on this side. And you mentioned already Secret Heroes, kind of the first NFT project we did on Secret. And personally, for me, I love to go and investigate where all my assumptions are kind of challenged. And for Secret was the case that until the point that I heard about Secret, the assumption was always that blockchain has to be public. And that kind of limits you in what you can do, in what kind of games you can make on the blockchain. So Secret for me was a very interesting proposition in as a game developer to build out stuff that wasn't possible on Ethereum, just because you kind of always have the cards on the table if you want to do it on chain.
Cool. And I plan on touching base on that in just a second, but a little bit to connect the audience a bit more to you. What are some unique traits that you think exclusively describe you and separate you from everyone else that you'd like to maybe connect with your great grandkids about? Oh,
that is a heavy question. I think one of the things is I tend to, or try to have a good mixture of stuff that I do. So I'm invested in crypto and programming, but I also do love gardening and kind of permaculture and stuff. So I wouldn't say it's super unique, but kind of one of the leading principles for me is somehow sustainability and personal growth and community growth. So I would say that is something that encapsulates me quite well.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I'm from a game theory perspective, I'm focused on tokenomic models that are have sustainability and whatnot, but gardening and having that carry over to more of your life is something that I should look into. So that's a wonderful answer. Thank you. So you mentioned that secret NFTs can do more things that ETH and every other blockchain can't. Can you kind of walk us through what your initial thought process was on that and what you were exploring and what fascinates you about it?
Yeah, 100%. So I mean, at their core, NFTs are just data that is stored on the blockchain. So I mean, we're going to see a lot of the profile picture projects coming up that connected with art, because art is kind of the immediate thing that comes to mind if you're talking about non-fungible tokens. I think every example uses money is fungible tokens, and then paintings are non-fungible tokens. But I think when you think about it from a perspective that it's just data that you put on chain and make kind of available to a worldwide computer, there are tons of use cases that we haven't even touched yet and that we're going to see in the coming years. And quite a few of those, I think, are connected to like the need of having parts of this data obscured from everyone. So NFTs give you this kind of public customer database, but still you don't want to have all the data available for grabs for anyone. And then with secret NFTs, we kind of get this two boxes. So I have the public box that I can use to verify ownership and that I can like put anything in that I want the world to see. But I also have the encrypted part that I can use to store something that only owners should see, or only like something that only the blockchain should be able to process and stuff like this. So I think that opens up a number of use cases, starting from gaming up to ticketing and like, I don't know what else to come. And that we're going to see a lot of interesting cases coming up in this regards in the future, I hope.
Absolutely. I can't wait. I know I talked to Cash Manny quite a bit about the Tarantino NFTs and how we're going from, like you mentioned, the public verifiable data where it's like, oh, we sell the bragging rights and technical ownership, but now you're also selling the actual secrets and the knowledge itself, which is fascinating. So I have an open offer to DB Cooper to come on and make an NFT series with me where whoever purchases it finds out how it happened. So we'll stay tuned on that. But how did you find out about Secret Network? How did you first transition and get involved with us?
I think like the first contact point was actually the Enigma ICO way back then. And then I was fortunate enough to kind of like look at it when the swap happened. And I just kind of did the swap and jumped into the Discord and just read through the stuff. And for me, it was like, it wasn't fully on my radar because it's just like something that run on the backside of things. And then I get like active in the Discord, took part in some agent missions, became a secret agent in the end, did a lot of this stuff. And I think the first real developer touch point was actually ETH Global Hackathon, which is nearly a year ago. And it was, for me, like I was super interested in NFTs because from like as a game developer, as a visual person, it kind of connected me with like how things work. And that was a very good time because Badrick just finished up the implementation of the secret NFT standard. And then for ETH Global, I was kind of looking for a team, and we kind of founded a secret network team with John and Badrick and Design John, for whom I think it also was like the first contact to Secret Network, if I recall correctly. And then we kind of spent the weekend together hacking Secret Heroes in the end. And I think that was the first like step as a developer into the ecosystem. And then the weeks and month after, lots of hackathons, lots of exploring from my side on the technology. And then it kind of evolved into Stashh, which is kind of the pinnacle of involvement for Secret Network right now, which is hopefully going to launch soon. And yeah, then I will see what comes next.
Awesome. So yeah, I knew that the Secret Heroes kind of proof of concept came about from a hackathon. Can you tell us what the hackathon was like? I've never been a part of one. I'm not a coder, but I'd love to hear about it and your experience.
Yeah. So hackathon is something that I really like to do because I'm a person who loves exploring different things. And this usually means that I have like a huge folder on my PC, which is full of unfinished projects, because like you do something, then you find something new, shiny and interesting, and you go into this. So a hackathon is very cool because it gives you a very limited time frame. In this, I think it was 48 hours. So you started Friday evening and you had until Sunday evening to kind of finish the whole thing. And just by limiting what you can do to like 2 days, it kind of forces you to really trim down what is the idea that you want to explore, what is the concept that you're going to test, and like who's doing what. So that is like for me personally something that kind of really boosts my productivity. And then like when we discussed what we want to do, like we decided pretty early on we want to do something with secret NFTs because we're going to battle test the implementation that Badrick made, and we wanted to do a game because I was the front end developer and I had a lot of experience with Unity and game development, and also for a hackathon it's usually if you're planning to win something, it's usually good to do something shiny that people can look at. is an experience that I made during the hackathons. So we kind of sat down and we thought about like what's something that you cannot do with normal NFTs, but you can do with secret NFTs. And this is kind of how the concept evolved. So in the end, like when you do games on the blockchain, you have like two kinds of game. You have the game like chess, where all the information is public and it's only about, like for chess, there is no hidden information. Every player can see the game board all the time. And it just comes down to who has the best strategy, who can plan in advance the most and stuff like this. And then you have like RPGs or real-time strategy games, which heavily rely on not knowing what your enemy knows. Like if you play something like Age of Empires with the full map revealed all the time and knowing what kind of resources your enemy has, it's a super boring game because there's like no ruse, there is no moment of surprise and stuff like this. And so this second category of games, which requires this information imbalance, cannot really be done on public blockchains because in this case, you could just go to Etherscan, Ethereum, and look up what is the data of your opponent. So the usual way that it's working right now is games either have like a centralized server that is usually run by the game company that does all this secret stuff off-chain, or you have some more complex mechanism like a commit reveal scheme, which would mean like in the example of Secret Heroes, which from a very core gameplay loop is every player puts a card on the table and each card has 4 skill values. And as soon as there are 3 cards on the table, we randomly pick one skill and the card with the highest skill wins. And on Ethereum, the way you have to do it, if you want to do it on chain, would be like, you're not literally putting the card on the table, but instead you're kind of saying, I put the hash of the card on the table. So like a verifiable number, which is unique for each card, but which does not tell you anything about the card. And then when all the 3 players have done this, you would come back to each player and they would have to show their card, and you could prove that the card that they are showing you right now would match the number that they kind of committed in the first step. But this like takes a lot of time for a single gameplay loop to play out. So it's usually not feasible if you're looking for any way of interactivity. And then Secret Network obviously has the possibility of having this data stored encrypted. So what we can do is like we can actually put the card on the table by sending them to a contract. And then the contract can resolve the battle the moment the third card arrives and send them all back. So that was kind of the core idea. And then we kind of digged into this. We did tweaks on the SNP 721 repository, like on the foundation of the NFTs. We built all this gameplay front end. We deployed everything, connected it to like between the website and the chain. So a lot of like tiny tasks to get all this together. And then in the end, we had this very, very rudimentary game that you could play at this point. Yeah.
Nice. And did you know Bedrick and John B before getting involved in this hackathon? Did you guys meet there?
No. Yeah, we kind of met a few days beforehand because John did a shout out in the Discord, like, I want to do a team, who's in? Nice. And then we kind of chatted and bonded during this intense 48 hours, I would say.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've never done anything like that, but I've done the chess tournaments and poker tournaments and every other type of actual game tournament, including Secret Heroes. Had a blast. So you mentioned a little bit about how the gameplay mechanics work for Secret Heroes, and if audience, if you haven't been around long enough for when it did come out like a year ago, it's still on Secret 2, right? It hasn't upgraded to the new chain, and you're waiting for a new version.
It is running on Secret 3. I have to check if it's already on Secret 4. Okay. So it should still work. We are still working on a few updates to kind of stabilize the token supply, because like you were able to mint quite cheaply. I think it was 3 heroes for 1 secret. So it was like $2 back then. So I think people have like 1 million heroes, or it feels like, and I think that's something that we didn't anticipate when doing all this front end stuff. So no worries. It's all good from our side. I mean, it's like the thing is just to select your hero. You have to kind of rotate through them. So if you have like 200 of them and you want to have the last one, you have to click 200 times. And it's just like from a user perspective, it's maybe not the best way to do that. I mean, I'm not a UX designer, so I wouldn't know. But just like trying it out, I assume that there are better ways. So what we're doing is like, I mean, it is not going to be a super engaging game just because the gameplay loop in the end is just an on-chain roll of a dice. If you look at it this way. But what we're trying to do is like to bring it into a state that it's a good proof of concept. It's something that people like playing and that it has like a very low entry of barrier. And then, I mean, the nice thing is because we are doing all of this on chain, you could totally play this game without the front end. So you could just use Secret Seal IO something to play the game without losing anything. And it also means that people could build another game based on the tokens, right? So I could, like, if I want to do a strategy game, I could go ahead and say like, hey, my characters in game are the Secret Heroes tokens. And then I would be able to kind of tap into an existing player base that already has some of those NFTs that they can use in this game. So maybe that's something that will happen. Would love to like give more utility to this token. But kind of our focus with this grant that is currently running is to kind of bring it into a state that it's done from a POC perspective and has some kind of longevity for people who own a lot of Hero, who want to play the game and stuff like this.
That's fascinating. I hadn't thought about taking these and moving them over to other games, which is something that's brilliant about NFT gaming in general, but that's super cool. And so users will link the website and everything so you can get started using Secret Heroes and playing. And yeah, you mint and you create these little NFTs and it's really cheap to make them. And they have 4 different categories. And so you'll have different metrics and then they kind of fight each other and you don't know who you're going to fight against. It picks one of the 4 categories randomly. And then if you have the strongest, you'll win and your point total will go up. So you kind of get your NFT stronger. And then if you lose a battle, it might go down, but it'll have a base minimum based on the mint. And it's a fun interactive way, especially for a first version. So I'm really excited for what's next. So what's coming next for Secret Heroes?
The update that we just talked about, kind of the core thing is called the Forge. And you mentioned already, like your heroes, they have two sets of attributes. The first one kind of being the natural attributes that were randomly chosen at mint. And then the second set is like what you get by winning battles. You get like training in different skills, and by losing battles, those training points can go back to 0. So you can kind of always end up at your natural skill level. And the Forge will kind of enable a way that you can say, I pick one hero that I want to kind of level up, and I pick another hero and a third hero, and the 2 latter ones are going to get burned. So they're going to get destroyed. They're going to get removed from the ecosystem. And your first hero is going to get his or her natural attributes permanently increased. So it's a way to kind of train up hero cards without the danger of losing all of this again when losing a battle. And then it's very similar. I'm not sure. I mean, you played a lot. I'm not sure if you noticed, but the stronger your hero is, the harder it is to kind of get extra skill points when winning. So the Forge is going to use a very similar approach to this, that you're going to need to, like, if I have a very strong hero and I want to make him stronger, I need to burn 2 also pretty strong heroes to get them level him up.
Similar to the rarity mechanics and other NFTs. That's brilliant. And yeah, that was something that frustrated me. I won like 22 games in a row and I moved up like 1 point in one category. I lost like a total of like 40 across the board. I'm like, that's what I get for gaming the system and being that guy. Yeah. No, that's fascinating. I love the idea of the Forge. I'm probably gonna have to burn hundreds of Secret Heroes, which makes them even more rare.
Absolutely. And I mean, at some point, I'm sure we're going to see them on Stashh as well. So like having one, like if you have one with 100 in all the skills, going to be super rare.
Yeah, I don't.
Community Spotlight.
Hi, Florian. I have your community question. This week it's from Mary K. The question is, if I'm an artist looking to create my own collection, what does the process look like for converting my art into NFTs? Do you have any advice for artists in general?
I think that's a very cool question timing-wise, because we're going to see Stashh launching very soon. So just a quick primer, Stashh is going to be a marketplace on Secret for secret NFTs, but it's also going to offer you a way of minting your NFTs through the platform. Because my gut feeling is that minting or setting up an NFT project on Secret is still a bit more involved than it is on Ethereum, because just there isn't as much dev tooling around this. There aren't as many plug-and-play solutions that you can use. So as an artist, I think the best way would be to go to Stashh as soon as it's launched, create your collection on the platform, which will do all the contract deployment for you, and then give you just a user interface to upload your art, to define the attributes. So you can have like public attributes that are always visible. You can have private attributes that are only visible to whoever owns the NFT. You can have like a private image that is only shown if you own the NFT, and a thumbnail that is shown for people who don't own the NFT, and things like this. So when we set up this minting process, we kind of had this artist flow in mind. And I think it's very streamlined if you are looking to create a small collection of 1 of 1 or 1 of 10 editions or something like this.
That's awesome. Thank you. An excellent question, Mary Kate. Yeah, that's something that I've heard asked quite a few times. I know my sister's an artist, and I've got other family members and friends interested, like, oh, what's this NFT craze? Like, I've got artistic ideas. I'm like, go do it, build, let's go. So that's wonderful. Mary Kate will be sending you 2.5 secret, 5 if you prove we're your top delegation. We appreciate the question. That was a good one. An excellent answer, Flor. Thank you. Going back into secret NFTs, what do you think a marketplace like Stashh will mean for games such as Secret Heroes? Will it be able to impact more than just buying and selling the token, or making it easier?
I think the way that I see it for an NFT ecosystem, you kind of need to have certain primitives in there to make it work. And I think the two most important ones are primary and secondary marketplaces. So primary marketplaces usually comes with a project. So when a project launches, they are still selling their token. They are kind of emitting tokens into the ecosystem. But then people are looking for a way to kind of selling those tokens again, either because they're interested in taking a profit, or because like you don't get the token that you want necessarily, but you have something else that you would like to have. So I think like with Stashh around the corner, it's kind of going to blow up the whole secret NFT ecosystem, because it's kind of putting all those important pieces into place and allowing people to build on other primitives like liquidity for NFTs and all those things that we are seeing on Ethereum. I think Stashh is kind of a door opener for all of those things. I know from a few projects that are building gamified mechanics for this, and most of them are going to use Stashh as a means of building a marketplace. Because again, being on Secret puts you into the nice position that you have privacy and secrecy assigned to your NFTs, but that also means that it's not as easy as it is on Ethereum building a decentralized marketplace, because like all the information that you need to facilitate trades and to put offers in, they're all public on Ethereum. So it's very easy to like just grab the data from chain and do all of this. On Secret, you might not have access to this data because the collection decides to keep ownership private, for example. So I think like with all this time and all this knowledge that went into Stashh, it's gonna kind of help a lot of people who are not as deep in Secret Network as the team is right now in building something on the network nevertheless, because they only need to focus on their game idea, on their artistic vision and stuff like this.
That's cool. An excellent point that I don't think we've covered in this podcast about not necessarily getting the one you want. I know for the Anon launch, like nobody had reserved rights to any specific Anon. And so it was, you don't know if you're getting the most rare one. You don't know if you're getting a guy, or I got a very hot Anon girl, number 149. And that is me now. But yeah, it's the idea of the private ownership of the private qualities is super cool. And we know that with Stashh coming out, Secret Dogs is going to be coming out on it, and I don't know what dog I'm going to get, and I'm going to try like hell to get my cat, but if I don't, then life is pain. I'm going to have to put her down.
That are hard words. I really hope you get your cat.
So does she. Flor, tell me how you got involved with Stashh and how you got added onto that project, how the project started up. Did it stem from Secret Heroes?
It kind of evolved from this. So like I was building stuff on Secret, and I think it was 2 or 3 hackathons after, which was called Scaling ETH, where I and a friend, we kind of build a POC of a marketplace and a minting platform. It's called Secret Manufaktur. I think it's still running on Holodeck. I can dig out the link. I think it's secretmanufaktur.florianude.com, but I had to double check. And that was kind of a prototype that allows you to like upload an image. It would generate a low resolution thumbnail automatically, put this into the private image, put the original into put the thumbnail in the public image, put the original into private image, and then you would be able to like list the image for sale, and people could buy it for Secret. And that was kind of a prototype, like how would you approach a marketplace on Secret? And from this, we kind of like started talking to different teams that were also working on a marketplace. We kind of got the group together, started to kind of formulate like what would we need, talking to people who would be interested in kind of building their first collection on Secret, figuring out use cases, talking to people, trying to kind of nail down what would an MVP for a marketplace on Secret be, and then started building it. And I think that's kind of the story. Like a lot of things came up on the way that you just don't think about it when you do it, like when you plan it the first time. But I feel like we're at a point where we like can open it up to the public very soon with a good heart and giving the people something that they can actually use.
Awesome. I cannot wait. And I know that with the news about Quentin Tarantino's NFTs, we partnered with OpenSea, and they're actually going to be open for bidding in Ethereum in the ETH version, and there's going to be a bridge. And OpenSea, of course, has the most users of any NFT platform. Obviously, I'm super bullish on Secret Network, and you're here building for a reason. But how would you compare Stashh and its capabilities to something like OpenSea? What does OpenSea have that we don't, and what can we offer and provide that they can't?
I mean, like the main point for OpenSea is that it has liquidity. Like it is one of the most used marketplace right now, or the most used marketplace. So like you have a lot of people on there discovering stuff, buying stuff. I think the unique features that you can have on Stashh or any marketplace on Secret Network is, again, the privacy. So something that tends to happen on Ethereum a lot is that people are monitoring valid transactions. So when you buy something, people might just ape into the project just because they saw that you bought it. And the same goes for like auctions on sought after pieces. So like if I make a bid on a piece, people can just go in and look up how many Ethereum do I have in my wallet, and they can be like, they know if they can outbid me or if I can outbid them. And I think that is something, especially this auction part, where artists are getting cut out of some potential profits just because the bidding is done in public and people are seeing like who's buying what. And I think that's something that's very easy to do on Stashh, that you kind of hide this information up to a certain point to make it more fair to the people and more fair to the artists.
I knew that secret auctions were unique, but I hadn't really considered using them in real time because I haven't used OpenSea. I've just been waiting for Stashh to come out because I'm married to the project. But that's fascinating because you can totally use Etherscan and check out the wallet address and see exactly how much ETH they have in there and if they move it. And if you know who wins it or there's some public announcement of who won an NFT auction, you know everything about them and everyone they interact with. We've talked about the Mark Cuban example multiple times, but wow, that's crazy. You can totally game the auction because you know exactly what you're up against. And that will be very cool to get rid of that. Very cool.
Hi, Florian. So going back to gaming, most people don't have too much experience gaming using, games that utilize the blockchain. And so how do you see just crypto in general and games built using it? How do you see those games evolving? Are they best for a specific type of game? Do you see it going more mainstream and being distributed on a platform like Steam? How do you see just gaming in general for like utilizing crypto moving forward?
That's a big question. I think there are like different aspects for gaming and crypto. So first one obviously is like ownership. So when you get a game like an RPG or something where you are hunting for items to get, I mean, in the end, people invest a lot of time and a lot of resources in getting like specific sets of items or something. And all this stuff is currently sitting on servers run by the company. And if they ever decide to close down the game, what has happened quite a few times in the past, you kind of lose all this investment. And for crypto, this isn't the case. Like, as I said, for Secret Heroes, if we were to shut down the website and the Unity game, people could still build another game based on Secret Heroes and just do a new iteration of a game using this content. And I think the second aspect is something like this play to earn, because using the blockchain, you got a tie-in into a financial system that you can use to reward players for doing this. Like on Ethereum, you have something like XC Infinity or Nifty Island that are building heavily on this concept of rewarding players for being part of the game. And I think that is a super interesting use case that we're going to see going forward very strongly, that being a creator in a game could actually be something that you're rewarded for. Like Roblox is a example of a non-crypto game that is relying heavily on the users creating content and making games on top of the platform. And if you like take Nifty Island, which is kind of putting this earn mechanic on top, you suddenly have people making a living potentially in like being on games, like being in the games, enjoying this and like just expressing themselves on a platform. So I think we're going to see some adoption on this. I think it's still a lot to figure out, like from a tokenomics perspective, like how does this work? How does it scale? How do you preserve value? But in the end, like people are right now investing a lot of money and a lot of time in classical games. And I think if we can like take those resources and extend the ownership to the players, that might be something that's very beneficial down the line for the players and for the people involved.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like, especially what you said with the ownership and a lot of it going to waste, I feel like I've personally been subject to that with mainly like the sports games. You know, I know a lot of people that have FIFA 20 or whatever, and they go crazy into the My Team or NBA 2K. You have your own player and you keep upgrading them, and then it sort of have to keep starting over. And that's sort of how they get you to keep coming back. But it would be nice to see, I guess, a different play on it where, you know, you can sort of keep it almost like how, you know, fantasy football, they have these dynasty leagues where you can like keep part of your team. So I think that's definitely very interesting. I guess building on top of that, for Secret specifically, how do you see gaming evolve on Secret Network? Do you see it attracting more specific games? Something that I feel like could be interesting is an online casino. I think casino games in particular might be very easy to like sort of see the use case of Secret and use it in a very obvious way. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the end, like when you do stuff on chain, you still have to consider the transaction cost of like when you do something on chain, you have to pay gas for this. I think the case for Secret is not as bad as it is for Ethereum right now, because the gas cost for a transaction is way lower. But still, like I wouldn't be able to run a strategy game on Secret, because like if I pay for any mouse click, any professional StarCraft player would kind of like be poor in a second. So I think like on Secret, you will have all these parts that you currently need to have on a centralized server could run on Secret Network. So loot boxes would be like super simple example that gets brought up often, I think, because you could actually put the stuff into the box when it's minted, because it could be secret, and then just when you open the box, it gets unveiled. or casinos, or like what you can also do is like the approach of the Mystic Skull project is like to put some of the game rule data into the NFTs and like not revealing this even to the owners, but instead like using it to facilitate the game itself. So you kind of having the atomic building pieces of your game running on chain, which then again gives players ownership about this. It allows to build derivative projects based on your primitives. And I think that are just super interesting use cases that we haven't seen so far in the traditional gaming world, and that we might see something very, very interesting coming up in the next month or years.
Yeah, I think that's fascinating, especially the Mystic Skulls. I wasn't too familiar with the project, but that sounds awesome. That even the data itself that is going to be used in the game is also hidden to them. I think that's, again, just another powerful use case that, you know, I myself wasn't even really thinking about.
Yeah, I love it. And tying into what you're talking about, Roblox and building stuff out, my dad had a roommate who he and his buddy would, they'd use Minecraft to build out like giant fields, and they'd actually sell it to like Call of Duty and other places. And they'd spend like weeks of like 10, 12-hour days building this out, and they'd sell it for like $800. And then these companies make tons of money on it. And it's like, you look at Decentraland or some of the other like blockchain-based gaming, and now you can actually own it. You can sell it. You can rent it out. You have the literal ownership of it, and you can monetize it however you want. You don't have to send it to a centralized authority. And I love the idea of dynasty gaming. So, yeah, fascinating. I'm excited for it. Well, buddy, you have made it to the viewing key. Proposal number 22 of SEFI governance recently passed, paving the way to remove some of the old incentivized pairs and add some new ones. Which of the following pairs was not enumerated to be added in the proposal? Is it A, secret Akash and SEFI, B, secret DVPN and SEFI, C, secret Osmo and SEFI, or D, secret Luna and SEFI?
I was totally unprepared that there's going to be a quiz. And I know about the proposal. I have no idea. I'm going to guess. So I'm going to guess that it's either 1 or 2. Can you give me those two again?
As Akash or DVPN?
I have no idea. I'm going to go for Akash.
That is correct.
Nice. What a wonderful day.
We make sure that our guests are not prepared for that, so we get a chance to try to stump them and show everybody that that there's always some aspect of Secret Network that nobody's entirely familiar with. So we give one question to each guest from an area that they're not associated with. And so Proposal 22 passed. If you go to secretswap.io, use the app, check out governance, and we're removing some of the old, smaller pairs that don't have a lot of liquidity, that aren't necessarily contributing with Secret all that much, and adding these new IBC partners. And the reason the ones that were chosen were Secret DVPN, Secret Osmo, Secret Atom, and Secret Luna, were because those are what's already nice and available to wrap on wrap. So WRAP.SCRT.network. You can check it out right now, right there. Instead of having to go to the Kepler dashboard to wrap and unwrap your secret, you can now wrap it there in addition to those tokens. But there's always room to add stuff like AKT and other awesome IBC projects in the future. So hit me up if you guys are interested in that. But excellent job, Florian. You killed it.
Yeah, thank you for asking this nice question. It was super interesting to chat about all of the things.
Cool. So what is your vision for Secret Heroes in the future? What features, new gameplay would you like to add, and what's the roadmap looking like?
So for Secret Heroes, I think the main focus is kind of stabilizing the tokens in a way that it's not too inflationary, but also not too limited, because again, it is supposed, for me, in the end, it's something that you can show people to explain the concept of on-chain gaming to them. So with this grant, I think we're on a good position in kind of bringing the token supply into something that is kind of growing and shrinking and kind of stabilizing itself. There are a few more ideas, like taking part of the mint proceeds and putting them into some kind of automated tournament. so that people like you have an incentive again to game the system and try to reach the top of the leaderboard, and kind of like put it in, or turn it into something that runs on its own, that grows on its own. That is like for the Secret Heroes as the card game that it is right now. Then going beyond, I mean, the whole thing is open source. People can just use the token in whatever projects they like it to use. So I would love to see like people coming in, building a game on this, and just like tapping into this. Like we have a number of people who have a significant amount of heroes, which in the end are just data points on chain, which gives you like 8 numbers, from which the first 4 are kind of fixed and the second 4 are kind of variable. And you can use this for whatever gameplay you would like this to use. Like you could make a racing game, an RTS or something. And I think that would be super interesting to kind of use this ownership of the players as a benefit for them to get into the game, because I wouldn't have to invest anything to get into this game if it's building on the Secret Heroes NFTs. So that is something that I would personally love to see or might build upon at some point in the future. And I think if we get to this point, it's going to be super interesting to see, like, as far as I know, the first multi-game ecosystem based on like shared NFTs to emerge on this.
That's awesome. I absolutely love it. You mentioned chess earlier, and I'm a big chess nerd, and I play tons of tournaments, but now I want to set up Wizards chess, where you can set it up with all these little secret heroes, which are cheap to mint, and then when you take one, you literally burn it. But yeah, the barrier of entry is super low. What's an example of an NFT project that has not been built, at least on Secret Network, but ideally anywhere, that you would like to see built in the next year or two?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it comes down to connectivity for me. So like I would love to see more projects that connect to each other, and that kind of operate over the boundaries of a single project or over the boundaries of a chain, for example, like something that runs on the Ethereum and on the Secret side, and they kind of go together, and you have like, could be like a strategy game where you pitch 2 different chains against each other or something like this. So I think that would be super interesting. And then again, I don't think that I know all the use cases that we're going to see. So I'm super looking forward what other people come up with, and what kind of ideas get prototyped, get built, and like where we are in, I don't know, 6 months or something, because like the whole NFT thing, it's still super young, and we are seeing a lot of like new paradigms come up and new technologies being built on top of this. And I'm just super excited to see where the journey with this is going to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love the idea of the interoperability and connectedness of all of these games as well. And I know that we obviously have multiple bridges, but we're working on an Ethereum bridge, which for NFTs, which I believe is pretty much ready. And while Ethereum gas fees suck, I know we are making a regular Solana bridge. So maybe we could have a Solana NFT bridge at some point, and maybe there's a game on Solana that will interact with Secret, and how you can have Secret handle private data and private computations that will interact and kick back stuff to that gameplay. Like, I mean, that was kind of the vision of Enigma before it was going to be its own layer 1 back when it was on Ethereum, where it would be a kind of a private scaling solution on Ethereum. And now it's its own layer 1, but it can still absolutely do all that kind of stuff. And the use cases are fascinating. We just need more people to come learn and build.
Absolutely.
Well, dude, thank you so much for your time, You're very well spoken. You're very knowledgeable, and I've learned a ton in this episode. So thank you so much. What's your call to action? Can you tell people how they can learn more about Stashh, reach out to you, more of the team, Secret Heroes, and plug away?
Discord is always a good place. So Stashh Discord, I think all the people who reached out in regards of secret NFT projects, I invite them to the Discord. We have the team in there. We are all super happy to kind of chat and give guidance and help out as much as we can in our limited time. But yeah, join there, ask questions, bring your use cases, bring your ideas, have them built on Secret, build them yourself on Secret. So I think that's, from my point, that is the best thing that you can do right now.
Awesome. And guys, we've got the link to the Stashh Discord right here in the YouTube comments. description as well as the episode description, so you can check it out right then and there. So thank you so much, Flor. And then how could people reach you personally if they're interested in more of what you're building?
I think, again, Discord is a very good place. So either Stashh Discord or Secret Discord. And Twitter also works. So it's twitter.com/FlorianUde. So DMs are open on both platforms. Feel free to reach out, ping me there. Always happy to jump on a call, have a chat or something, and help out if I can.
Awesome. Flor, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate everything you're doing and building on Secret Network, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for deciphering the secret code. For the community, by the community. New episodes every Sunday. Secret Sunday.
Thanks for listening. Congrats to Mary Kate for the Community Spotlight question. The reward for this week comes out to 2.5 secret. If we are our top delegation, then it is 5 secret. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for potential guests, please mention it in the comments. See you next week.